Welcome to the STM32 Innovation Live 2023. We have amazing new products and technologies to share with you today, and we can't wait to hear from all of you who are attending this event. This year's STM32 Innovation Live will take you around the world. You get to see ST sites across 3 continents, travel to 6 countries, and discover multiple new products, with several of them launching today. This keynote is also translated into 5 languages, and we've provided English subtitles for better accessibility. You will also have a chance to speak. Indeed, the STM32 Innovation is more than a keynote. It's an interactive event where you can get information and answers from our experts. It's a time when we can all come together to help everyone in innovating in an ever-changing landscape. Indeed, the world of embedded systems is undergoing fundamental changes. Security requirements are tougher than ever, and users expect more, and companies must achieve greater reliability and energy efficiency. These new challenges demanded new solutions. That's why at the last STM32 Innovation Live in 2021, we launched the STM32U5, our first microcontroller with a CZIP Level 3 certification, a level that is so strict that it guarantees protection from substantial physical and software attacks. And since then, we released new microcontroller tools, graphic user interfaces, software packages, and more. How did that impact the industry? In 2021, STM32 became the #1 general-purpose microcontroller in the world in terms of market share, according to Media. And more than 100,000 customers worldwide have adopted our microcontrollers. Hence, STM32 Innovation Live 2023 is all about helping you see what you can accomplish. With every announcement, we want you to imagine how each device, each tool, each piece of software, and each solution will help you unleash your creativity. We are committed to meeting you where you are. That's why we work closely with the Linux community and have massively expanded our presence on GitHub. ST is also dedicated to making all technologies more accessible. That's why, among many other things, we provide TouchGFX, a free graphical framework. Its designer tool now supports themes you can build, elegant graphic user interfaces, even if you don't have graphic experts in-house. And accessibility is even more critical when it comes to security. That's why we've just announced 2 new subfamilies of STM32U5 with different memory capacities and peripheral set. The new devices will make the U5 far more scalable. They will help you better tailor your system so that you can more effectively create an embedded system that meets your customer needs. And we have many more announcements planned today around security. Today will be about making security accessible, regardless of your expertise level, and bringing certifications to more platforms, including our wireless devices or our MPUs. Today's solution will also extend beyond the realm of security to encompass the entire STM32 Cube ecosystem, including our AI initiatives, because ultimately, this STM32 Innovation Live is about bringing you a better way to work and innovate. So stay tuned, because as the STM32 Innovation Live unfolds, we'll unveil the solutions development boards, ecosystem, and tools that will help you bring ideas to market faster. To learn more about how we are supplying everyone with the STM32 devices, let's go to Xavier in France. Xavier, take it away.
Thank you, Ricardo, for that overview of the STM32 strategy. Now welcome to Crolles, France, where some of our STM32 are manufactured. ST is an integrated device manufacturer, or IDM, with 14 main manufacturing sites across the globe. We design and produce products for our customers, providing them with a service and the quality they need. As an IDM, we are continuously investing in our technologies and manufacturing footprint, and our manufacturing activity is core to who we are and what we do. Being an IDM is very important for the support of customers in challenging times, and the situation of the microcontroller market recently is a good example. It is clear that the demand for microcontroller has been and will be growing faster than the economy in general. This is linked to the massive shift to digitalization, both for business to business and consumer industrial application. It means there are microcontrollers in applications where there were none before, as well as an increasing number of microcontrollers per application. We are convinced that this increasing demand will continue for many years, in particular to support the decarbonization of the economy with more power-efficient solutions and new energy sources where microcontrollers play a key role. The past 2 years have been tough for all of us, with shortages, allocations, and extended lead times, compounded by long manufacturing equipment lead times. We have worked with you to mitigate the shortages, proposing alternative products and solutions. The road has not been smooth, but we overcame many challenges together, and we are encouraged by your positive feedback. We hope that you feel ST did all we could to support you. So thank you for your continued trust. At ST, to sustain this long-term increasing demand for all the products, the investment done involved a significant expansion of our 300mm wafer manufacturing to increase capacity between 2022 and 2025. And this already represented a significant portion of our $3.5 billion in capital expenditures in 2022. The same strategy will be at work in 2023, with capital expenditures expected to be around $4 billion, with a significant portion for the 300mm expansion. We continue our capacity expansion at our Crolles fab here in France, and we also announced an agreement for an additional 300mm manufacturing facility on the site. In Agrate, Italy, we are now ramping the new 300mm fab. So, what does this mean for STM32 microcontrollers and microprocessors? You may have seen the first signs of the capacity increase, where ST and its foundry partners started implementing in the second half of last year. Of course, the situation varies depending on the technology. I spoke earlier about ST's internal capacity increase plan, backed up by significant investments. For external foundry capacity, we have also invested significantly to secure firm commitments from our foundry partners to increase the 90nm and the 40nm node process technology capacity available to us. These process technologies are used for the vast majority of the most recent products in the STM32 family. This means that, looking forward, front-end capacity will increase significantly between now and 2025. We will also increase global wafer sort and back-end capacity in line with this plan. These investments will serve all of the STM32 family of products: ultra-low power, mainstream, high performance, wireless MCU, as well as our MPUs. This will allow us to serve the continuous increase in demand we see over the long term. All of this is being done to offer the supply chain resilience you will need in the coming decade, with both ST internal capacity and the support of our network of partners. Thank you again for your trust. And now let's get started with one of the many exciting announcements we have for you today. How your next 8-bit MCU can be a 32-bit one. Over to you, Takeshi in Tokyo.
皆さんこんにちは。Thank you, Xavier, and welcome to ST Tokyo. We are so glad to be part of this STM32 Innovation Live and to introduce the future of cost-effective embedded systems, the STM32C0. The STM32C0 is not only the most affordable STM32 today, but it's so cost-effective that it can rival an 8-bit device. Yes, you heard that right. You get 32-bit for the price of 8-bit. これはすごいですね。8-bit microcontrollers continue to play an interesting role, and ST still offers estimate devices. But we also know that some of you do work with an 8-bit device not really by choice, but because of the challenges you face. When you must have the lowest bill of materials possible, 32-bit systems are sometimes just out of reach. Well, not anymore. Now that the STM32C0 is as affordable as an 8-bit legacy device, you can choose the more powerful architecture and keep your budget in check. Can you imagine how it will change your business? By qualifying an STM32C0, you can reuse that same device in vastly more applications, which helps save time and money. Your teams will also benefit from a significantly more comprehensive set of tools and software solutions, which will make their jobs a lot easier. Take this example. One member of our ST Partner Program can move from prototyping to a final design in only 45 days. While it usually takes many months, our partner took only 45 days because the STM32Cube ecosystem takes all the complexity out of their development. That's the world that is now open to you when you move from an 8-bit system to an STM32. But we know some of you are going to worry about design. What if you need an entry-level microcontroller because it's small? Thanks to its incredibly small die size, the STM32C0 is one of the only microcontrollers that fit in a 3x3mm 20-pin QFN package. Hence, you not only enjoy a small form factor, you even save space. Because the STM32C0 includes components like a high-accuracy crystal, you need fewer external devices on your PCB. And wait until you experience the reliability of STM32 devices. At ST, small never means weak. The device can fit in industrial applications because it supports 125 degrees Celsius, even when you use a tiny package. Low cost should never be an excuse for poor reliability. That's why we guarantee robustness and provide a 10-year commitment. We know that moving from an MCU architecture to another can be daunting. That's why we are not only releasing a new microcontroller, but as well a more productive way to work on embedded systems. If you worry about porting your code, don't be. We have documentation that will help you through the process. If you are concerned about the lack of support, don't be. We are organizing webinars in many regions so you can get the best expertise firsthand and talk to our engineers. If you are anxious about learning a new environment, don't be. We have GUIs to configure your microcontroller and a strong community ready to assist you. And to make your first steps, with the STM32C0 even more accessible, we developed a new type of board. The board comes with an STM32C0, a connector compatible with 8-bit MCUs, and the ability to support STM32G0. It's the ultimate transition tool to go from 8-bit to 32-bit and explore new upgrade paths. We are so excited to see what you'll do with the STM32C0 now that we've opened the world of 32-bit embedded systems to so many more projects. Check out st.com and Developer Zone to learn more about the STM32C0 and discover how you can easily go from the STM32C0 to the STM32G0 thanks to an optimized pinout and more. Whether you come from the 8-bit world or you are exploring the 32-bit one, the STM32C0 marks a new beginning by making innovation more accessible on entry-level systems. You are no longer limited by what you can afford, but by what you can create. And to continue with this trend, let's look at how we are also making microprocessors more accessible and more secure with a new STM32MP1. Let's go to Chris in Marlow, England, to see what it looks like. ありがとうございました。
Hello everybody and welcome to Marlow in Southeast England. Thank you Takashi-san for sharing with us your fascinating presentation on the STM32C0 and how it opens the world of 32-bit microcontrollers to so many more developers. Making the STM32 world more approachable is very near and dear to everyone here at ST. That's why we are making the entire family of STM32 devices more accessible. From the STM32C0 microcontroller for entry-level applications to our powerful microprocessors. That's why I'm so excited and proud to announce our newest and most cost-effective industrial-grade MPU yet, the STM32MP13. What does it mean to be cost-effective? For example, while the new STM32MP13 costs less than $4, it still features a junction temperature of 125 degrees C, making it reliable enough to work in harsh industrial environments. The MP13 delivers excellent performance thanks to a Cortex-A7 running up to 1 GHz, making it the fastest MP1 series yet. However, the new MP13 also features best-in-class low-power modes. For example, its standby mode of only 12 microwatts consumes about 15 times less power than alternative solutions. And you know how much low power consumption can affect the overall design. Increasing energy efficiency often means using fewer passive components, which makes the whole system smaller, which in turn increases reliability and reduces the overall lifetime cost. And to make the STM32MP13 even more accessible, we are providing layout templates for 4-layer plated through-hole PCBs. In other words, we want to help you design the most cost-effective product in the shortest possible time. On top of this, since the MP13 builds on the MP15, developers get to enjoy the benefits of working with the same software ecosystem, including the OpenST Linux distribution, which can be built with Yocto or Buildroot. Indeed, making the world of microprocessors more accessible isn't only about lowering a unit price, it's about providing an ecosystem that's intuitive and easy to use. That's why we're so excited to announce that the MP13 will be our first microprocessor to support a real-time operating system as an alternative to embedded Linux. We know that many industrial systems need real-time or near real-time performance. The problem is that high-level operating systems like Linux can't provide the same execution consistency as an RTOS. That's why we're working on a new extension for OpenST Linux called Linux RT. In a nutshell, it helps developers reduce the latency of certain applications to provide near real-time performance for applications like factory automation systems. But what if you're coming from the world of microcontrollers and want a similar experience on your microprocessor? Well, today we are announcing bare metal and Azure RTOS support on the STM32MP13. Thanks to bare metal support and its hardware abstraction layer, STM32 developers can carry their MCU expertise to our MPUs. And for those familiar with RTOS, having Microsoft Azure RTOS on the MP13 will simplify development. So stay tuned as we expect to bring the world of real-time operating systems to our MP13 by the end of the year. To make devices more accessible, it's critical to make the entire platform easy to use and application-oriented. That's why engineers will appreciate some of the new security features found on the MP13, as they will help them work on new applications. For example, the new microprocessor now has multiple active anti-tamper pins, side channel protection, and authenticated and encrypted boot stages to support a stronger hardware root of trust. Similarly, the new MPU supports ARM Trust Zone to isolate sensitive code. In fact, the new hardware security features are so extensive, the STM32 MP13 is our first MPU capable of obtaining a CZIP Level 3 certification. The qualification is so strict that it guarantees protection against substantial physical and software attacks. The MP13 is a new approach to MPUs. It takes the ecosystem of our first MPU and then offers a truly cost-effective device. Even if you're coming from the microcontroller world, new initiatives like our real-time OS on your MPU mean the whole experience will feel more familiar. And if you need hardened security, the new hardware opens the door to a world of certifications. The STM32 MP13 and its Discovery Kit are available now, and we know you'll build great products with it. But that's not all. ST is also launching a new microcontroller that will take hardware security features and certifications to a whole new level of accessibility. To learn more about it, let's talk to Kunther in France. Kunther, what do you have for us?
Bonjour et bienvenue à tous. Thank you, Chris, for this fascinating presentation on the new STM32 MP13. And welcome to everyone in our ST site in Rousset, in the beautiful south of France. It's clear that security and performance play major roles in how creators shape embedded systems. Today, a general-purpose microcontroller must be flexible enough to serve most products well, while also offering the most hardened security mechanism. It's about finding the perfect balance between performance, security, and cost-effectiveness to stay ahead in a competitive market. And to help you achieve just that, we are launching the STM32H5 series, which will serve as the new benchmark for the industry. Indeed, at its core, the STM32H5 redefines what embedded systems can do. With a score of 1023 in CoreMark, the STM32H5 is the most powerful Cortex-M33 today. The new device runs at 250 MHz. It houses up to 2 MB of dual-bank flash and up to 640 KB of RAM. It also has a rich set of interfaces, including, for the first time in the STM32, an I3C interface. The new STM32 microcontroller also benefits from the same reliability and efficiency as other devices in the family. For example, it supports a temperature of 125 degrees Celsius to meet industrial application requirements. Additionally, some STM32H5s have a switched mode power supply for a greater power efficiency. Security is another priority of the STM32H5, as the new device inaugurates a new approach to security thanks to a set of services that will be certified and maintained by ST. Yes, you heard it right. We are taking over to make your life a whole lot simpler. If you adopt ST's implementation and use our binaries, obtaining the PSA or CZIP Level 3 certification for your product becomes vastly more straightforward. And you don't have to worry about updating or patching our implementation. We are taking care of all of it for you. On top of this, the STM32H5 brings you more hardened security mechanisms, such as a two-stage root of trust, with an immutable root of trust or IROT and an updatable root of trust or UROT. So what does that mean for you? Having an IROT means developers don't have to rely on an external hardware security module. And having a UROT means embedded system experts can enjoy a greater flexibility of upgrading their application without compromising the most fundamental aspects of their security policies. Another example is that thanks to those new features, developers can better manage their devices in the field, thanks to the lifecycle management and debug authentication features. On an H5, engineers can reopen debug features without compromising security to make the life of engineers much simpler when they service a system in the field. In other words, security became much more practical thanks to the new STM32H5 hardware and software functionalities. And we can't wait to see how the STM32H5 will release your creativity. That's why we are releasing not only one, but two H5 models. One will have 128 kilobytes of flash, while the other will feature up to 2 megabytes. Both versions will be available in a wide range of packages to make them accessible to more applications from day one. There are already H5 Nucleo boards available now, and the Discovery Kit with the STM32H573, which includes all the security features, will be available in June. Of course, it's one thing to talk about security, but it's another thing to implement it. So let's talk to Sunny in China, who will introduce the Secure Manager, an entirely new trusted execution environment solution owned and maintained by ST that will simplify developers' workflow regardless of their expertise level. Sunny, the floor is yours. Merci à tous. Bye bye.
大家好，欢迎来到 STM32 Innovation Live. Thank you, Kauthar, and welcome to the magic city we call Shanghai. To help take advantage of all the security features of the STM32H5, I'm excited to introduce Secure Manager, a new STM32 Trust initiative that will make implementing safeguards and obtaining certifications much more practical. Engineered in cooperation with our partner Proof & Run, Secure Manager is a turnkey solution that transfers SESIP security assurance to your application. That's right. Thanks to Secure Manager, creating a SESIP Level 3 application just become a lot simpler. Let me explain. Secure Manager takes the form of a downloadable software package containing binaries, libraries, code implementations, and documentation, among other things. There will also be configuration options to guide developers in activating certain features like the STM32H5's immutable root of trust or IROT. We're so excited to introduce Secure Manager because we understand what you go through. We know that despite the best intentions, some developers can't implement all the security features they target, and sometimes you can't obtain the certification you were hoping for. There are many reasons. In some cases, teams don't have the necessary expertise. At other times, it's too expensive. That's why we're excited about Secure Manager. We believe it will change how you work because Secure Manager includes PSA and SESIP Level 3 certified binaries that guarantee certification at the system level. Previously, we only provided source code, which meant that developers had to adapt it and compile it, which forced them to certify it again. A qualification is only valid if the code remains unchanged. A binary solves that. Secure Manager is also mindful of where you are in your development journey. That's why we use PSA APIs. If you are using trusted former M from ARM, you know those APIs already. And so, moving to Secure Manager will be relatively straightforward. Additionally, because Secure Manager provides a turnkey solution that automatically sets up the IROT and features like secure storage, the certification process becomes much simpler. Indeed, using the binaries saves tremendous time and resources. We will also provide a Secure Manager Access Key, or SMAK, to help developers create applications that use services from the Secure Manager but run on the non-trusted part of the trust zone environment. As I'm sure you realize now, the new Secure Manager is about increasing the accessibility of all the security features of the STM32H5 and other STM32 MCUs at a later date. Consequently, it also allows developers to customize their solutions. Do you only want to use ST's iROT, or the iROT and uROT only, or both of them alongside the trusted execution environment and secure services, or no services at all? STM32H5 gives you the ability to pick and choose what works for you. And to further help developers with more demanding needs, the Secure Manager comes with the Secure Manager Development Kit SMDK to create complex and trusted applications. For instance, a team working on a fingerprint algorithm would use the SMDK to turn it into a secure and encrypted module that would live in a privileged area. Secure Manager is a great example of ST's commitment to security and of what our community can expect from the STM32 Trust initiative. From the start of your development phase to the commercial launch, it's critical to build safeguards to protect your company's IP and your customers. The goal of STM32 Trust is to demystify security. We know the topic itself can get extremely complex. It's difficult to get the right documentation or grasp the intricacies of all the technologies involved. STM32 Trust already helped with that, and now Secure Manager goes a step further by opening the STM32H5 security to all developers regardless of their expertise level. The best way to get started is to head to the STM32 Trust webpage on st.com to see what Secure Manager can do. We believe that it will change how you look at security on embedded systems. We will also conduct webinars worldwide to walk our community through some of the implementations and new possibilities. Talking about community, we want to take the time to listen to your comments and get your questions. So at this time, we will have a live Q&A. Leave your impressions, suggestions, or questions in the comment section. We will try to answer them as quickly as possible before moving to Natalie in France, who will show us how our first wireless microcontroller is also getting a serious security upgrade. 感谢您的聆听和参与，再见。
Bonjour à tous et bienvenue. As we just saw with Sunny in Shanghai, ST's desire to make security more accessible extends to many applications. 2 years after the launch of the STM32U5, the desire to help our customers obtain a CESIP Level 3 certification is transforming many of our devices. That's why we are happy today to announce the STM32WBA, the first wireless STM32 to open the way for a Bluetooth Low Energy 5.3 and CESIP Level 3 certification. So, what's new? First of all, the radio received significant optimizations. It is the first of its kind to reach plus 10 dBm in output power. What does that mean for your application? It means that it can offer a more robust wireless link when connecting to a device, even if something is absorbing the signal. Take a wearable connected to a phone, for example. When the wearable is in a backpack, the signal must cross the bag and the user's body, which may cause issues. However, with an output power of plus 10 dBm, engineers enjoy a strong signal and reliable link budget. But that's not all. The STM32WBA also supports long-range transmission, a high-speed data rate of up to 2 megabits per second, and advertising extension to optimize communication management. And while the WBA52, the first WBA, focuses only on Bluetooth Low Energy, support for other wireless technologies like OpenThread and Zigbee will arrive a bit later. We are also really proud to announce the STM32WBA today because it represents a new approach to wireless microcontrollers. The original WB had a Cortex M0 Plus running the radio stack and a Cortex M4 for the application. The WBA uses a single Cortex M33 running at 100 MHz with a score of 407 in core mark. What does that mean for you? Well, thanks to this new power, you can now run demanding algorithms like, for example, fingerprint recognition or anomaly detection thanks to predictive maintenance. Moreover, this one core simplifies developments, provides a better performance per watt ratio, and benefits from a certain maturity since it borrows from a well-known microcontroller, the STM32U5. Indeed, that's what makes the STM32WBA special. For example, the WBA supports low power, stop 0, stop 1, and standby modes that developers find in the STM32U5. Why? Because it enables developers to go rapidly from a running mode with connectivity to standby mode with the radio context written in the memory. Thanks to this optimized mechanism, the WBA offers greater power saving and fast wake-up times than its predecessors. We know that strong security is also something that more and more of you must deliver. That's why the STM32WBA is the first ST wireless microcontroller to provide a CESIP Level 3 certification. The Cortex M33 and ST's firmware provides functionalities like Trust Zone, Trusted Firmware, Secure Boot, Secure Debug, and more. Teams can thus protect sensitive applications from the radio stack and safeguard information like cloud credentials or user data. And thanks to STM32 Trust Initiative, developers can also save time and resources. ST will have specific content on the STM32 Wiki to assist the community as it implements BLE-specific applications that rely on powerful security safeguards. The new devices will also include mechanisms protecting against physical attacks, such as 4 anti-tamper pins, a unique hardware key, and more. In a word, the STM32WBA represents a new era. It is a foundational shift for companies working on wireless devices. Moving to a single Cortex M33 core introduces new level of simplicity, power, efficiency, and security. The best way to get started with the STM32WBA is to grab the Nucleo board featuring the WBA52 and download its CUBE firmware package. But this is not the only announcement we have for the STM32WB series. And to learn more about the exciting developments around Matter and WB modules, let's talk with William in Brazil. William, take it away. Merci et au revoir.
Olá pessoal, bem-vindos ao STM32 Innovation Live. Thank you, Natalie. We are so excited about the STM32WBA because it makes working on a secure Bluetooth application vastly more accessible. But that's not all the STM32WB announcement for today. Let me talk to you about 2 new solutions, a software package to help companies adopt Matter and a new STM32WB module with a unique capability. If you are not familiar with it yet, Matter is an initiative from the Connectivity Standard Alliance, which includes Amazon, Apple, Google, Samsung, ST, and more. In a nutshell, Matter uses IPv6 technologies to make each device worldwide addressable on a 2.4 GHz mesh network using Thread or Wi-Fi. Thanks to Matter, the products in my home and yours will be able to talk to each other, regardless of the vendor or the platform that manages them. How? Matter makes sure devices are compatible with one another. That's why we are announcing today that the first version of the X-Cube Matter software package is available for download. It includes a bridge application supporting Matter and Zigbee, and running on a STM32H7 for Matter and an STM32WB for Zigbee. Moreover, Since the application uses a traditional data model, developers can modify it to support nearly any protocol. Imagine the possibilities. Another unique feature of the ST solution is that it allows Matter development on Windows and macOS. Until now, when I or any of the developers in our community worked on a Matter application, we had to use Linux distribution. However, because Xcube Matter works with the STM32Cube ecosystem, I can now use any of the major operation systems. We know that some of you are still evaluating whether you will adopt Matter. It's not always an easy decision. That's why we are giving you the tools and code to create a bridge quickly, so you can arrive at the decision that will make sense for your operations. Our Matter software is here to help you figure out whether to work on the new protocols and how to start bringing Matter support to your market. The other announcement that we have in the STM32WB family of products is the arrival of the STM32WB1 MMC module, the second WB module we've ever made. The first one was the WB5 module, which includes an STM32WB55 MCU. Now, the WB1 uses STM32WB15 microcontroller to help those working on a simple Bluetooth LE application. Yes, we heard you. Many of you are working on a smaller system that requires less memory, wanted a module that fits your needs with the WB1. We are delivering it. But that's not all. Module has the unique ability to support an internal or an external antenna. Why? When using an internal antenna, the module comes with EMC certifications, FCC, CA, and Anatel, for products here in Brazil, and many others. It helps greatly reduce the time to market and lower certifications costs. However, when I'm working on smart window shading systems, for example, I have to place the antenna outside the system to compensate for geometrical and metallic constraints. Previously, I would get a traditional STM32WB, which is full of reference towards the antenna. But now, I have a module that can fit my needs. We've heard from so many of you telling us that the module makes prototyping, manufacturing, and inserting easier. For example, a module includes more than a dozen components that would have to be on the PCB if engineers used a regular STM32WB. Now, the WB1 allows you to use a module even if you must use an external antenna. So that is the best way to start working on a WB1 module. Our coming connectivity expansion board will include the new module as well as a motion and temperature sensors for beacon and other IoT applications. The WB1 and its coming development board are also fully supported within the STM32Cube ecosystems to facilitate developments. That's right, making wireless technologies more accessible and practical means meeting you where you are in your development journey. When many of you aren't sure if they will adopt Matter or where to begin, we bring you an application and software tools to get you started. And when you want to make the process of creating a Bluetooth application simpler, we bring you a new module that's more cost-effective and flexible. Making technology accessible is all about understanding our community and providing everyone with more intuitive ways to approach the technical challenges you face. And to do that, at the scale of the entire STM32 family, let's talk to Tilling, who will share exciting news on the new STM32 Developer Zone and our new Cloud AI initiative. E por aqui é só, pessoal. Até mais!
Dobar dan in pozdravljeni. Welcome to Prague, the city of 100 spires, and thank you, William, for this amazing overview of ST's Matter stack and the new STM32WB module. Clearly, today is about making the STM32 ecosystem more accessible. That's why I want to talk to you about the two new exciting initiatives around our STM32Cube software ecosystem. The first is a significant upgrade to the STM32 Developer Zone. Why? Because we want to meet the needs of developers as they work on new applications by bringing richer content and improved user accessibility. The second is the launch of the STM32Cube.ai Developer Cloud to make machine learning a lot more practical for developers, whether it's your first project or you have years of experience under your belt. Let's talk about the first. We are so excited to be launching a new version of the STM32 Developer Zone. It adds a dedicated MPU section, a quick project start guide, and shortcuts to the most popular tools. Put simply, the new STM32 Developer Zone brings a more user-friendly and easy-to-navigate user experience that reflects the way developers approach their applications. That's why we updated the developer zone to provide a new approach to our solution based on application and use cases. Instead of just listing the software packages and tools available, we provide a starting point and building blocks for users who need to have an overview of what their project will require. Besides the new user experience, the STM32 developer zone will continue to reflect the frequent updates coming to the STM32Cube ecosystem. For instance, we are working on bringing free RTOS to the STM32U5, and the developer zone will show that. As of today, we already provide Azure RTOS in the Cube U5 firmware package. Another example is that the STM32 developer zone will also promote an official Visual Studio Code extension. It leverages building, programming, and debugging features so developers can use VS Code as an additional IDE option. The other initiative making the STM32Cube ecosystem more accessible and practical is STM32Cube.ai Developer Cloud. For those who may not be familiar with it, Cube.ai is a solution we launched in 2019. It converts a pre-trained neural network, the algorithms used for artificial intelligence, into optimized code for STM32 developers. That's why Cube.ai makes it easier to create machine learning applications on embedded systems. And now, Cube.ai Developer Cloud provides a new front end to make the entire STM32Cube.ai solution more practical by offering 1. Benchmark data, and 2. A neural network zoo. That's right, we are so excited to announce that the new Developer Cloud features a board farm with most of the STM32 development boards used for machine learning applications. As a result, Cube.ai Developer Cloud is able to take a pre-trained neural network and launch a simulation on the entire board farm to show how the model would behave on each system. Can you imagine? Developers don't have to acquire all the boards themselves and run a long series of benchmarks. They can immediately gauge which platform has the best performance per cost ratio for their use case. We even developed REST APIs. Developers can therefore test their network against our board farm right from their development environment without needing the use of the web interface. Another feature of the STM32Cube.ai Developer Cloud that we think will change how you work is the STM32 Model Zoo. The STM32 Model Zoo recommends a series of models for various applications and use cases. Hence, engineers who know how to train a network and already have a dataset can get a series of network topology recommendations to avoid running into issues like memory limitations or poor performance. It is even possible to use the Model Zoo with the board farm to test various topologies during the prototyping phase. We just saw 2 new major initiatives making our STM32Cube ecosystem much more accessible and practical. The Developer Zone meets engineers wherever they are in their journey, and the Cube.ai Developer Cloud makes industrial AI more accessible to the entire embedded system community by guiding them in their choice of model and development board. Another thing STM32 developers will find a lot easier to tackle is the process of optimizing for power consumption. It's not enough to build a great app. Embedded applications must also be energy efficient. And to help with that, we have an amazing new tool. To learn more about it, let's talk to Manuel in Italy. Manuel, take it away. Hvala I na svidenja.
Ciao a tutti e benvenuti. Thank you, Tilen. As we just saw, the STM32Cube ecosystem isn't just broad, but it continues to be even more practical and accessible. By customizing how we deliver ST software packages and tools based on your application, and by bringing AI to the cloud, we made it easier to use the technology that will transform your products. It's exactly the same spirit that drove us to create a completely new ST-Link probe, the ST-Link V3 Power. For those of you who may not be familiar with it, ST-Link is our technology for programming and debugging STM32 microcontrollers and microprocessors. Most of you use ST-Link when you plug a Nucleo board into a PC, sometimes even without realizing it. While you can start using ST-Link on a Nucleo board, at some points in your development journey, many of you want a standalone ST-Link hardware probe because you work with a custom PCB or need additional features like galvanic isolation. ST-Link has always been about adapting to your workflow by making our probes easier to use. This is why we are launching today the ST-Link Power, an all-in-one probe that keeps all the programming and debugging features you know and love, but can also act as a source measurement unit. We are so excited about this new ST-Link because it provides detailed power consumption information and helps developers measure the current draw of their application. As a source measurement unit, the new ST-Link V3 Power has a really wide dynamic range. And by wide, we mean from 100 nanoamps to 500 milliamps. Not only is the first ST-Link Pro with power measurement capabilities, but we guarantee an accuracy of 2% on the whole range. On top of it, the new ST-Link V3 Power can supply the target up to 2 amps. Today, there aren't a lot of choices for developers looking to analyze power consumption. You can either grab a low-cost power monitoring tool, but it will be far more inaccurate, and it won't offer anywhere near the same dynamic range or performance level. Or you can get something similar in performance, but are stuck paying nearly $1,000. How much does the ST-Link V3 Power cost? Less than $200. Yeah, that's right. Making precise power measurement more accessible meant guaranteeing a price that most teams could easily afford and providing debugging and programming features at the same time. So, what can developers expect from ST-Link V3 Power? Well, on top of being a full-featured debugger and programmer, it can take power consumption measurement and help developers visualize the data they collect. We have already updated STM32Cube Monitor Power and STM32Cube IDE to support the new product. For instance, teams can use Cube Monitor Power to display measurement into a graph to understand the evolution of power consumption in real time. At the time of announcement, ST-Link V3 Power is also compatible with Kyle and IR IDEs. Developers can analyze their code execution in sync with energy consumption measurement to optimize the energy profile of their system in greater depth. Energy efficiency is so important that we work tirelessly to design STM32 microarchitecture with the lowest power consumption possible. We also optimize our application, and now with ST-Link V3 Power, we made it easier for you to see what your application consumes, and now you can bring further enhancement. So watch out for it. We will demo ST-Link V3 Power at local events, and our new probe will be available for purchase in the coming months. Energy efficiency is something that is very close to our hearts. Every year we release a sustainability report. We are also committed to be carbon neutral by 2027. But to learn more about the practical steps we are taking to lower our environmental impact, let's talk to Corina in Grenoble. Corina, take it away. Grazie a tutti. Arrivederci.
This is ST. This is ST. This is ST. This is ST. Bonjour à tous et bienvenue à Grenoble, France. Thank you, Manuel, for showing us how the new ST-Link V3 Power will help all developers lower power consumption and improve overall efficiency. Reducing the environmental impact of embedded systems is something we take extremely seriously. And throughout this event, you've seen how we're working hard to lower the power consumption of our solutions. However, we at ST believe that for technology to have a positive impact on our planet and society, it also needs to be produced in a sustainable way. This is why we have been taking steps for over 25 years to reduce our resource consumption, source responsible materials, produce in a cleaner way, and much more. Do you ever wonder how a semiconductor manufacturer can reach carbon neutrality and source 100% electrical energy from renewable sources? Let me give you some insights on how ST is doing this. In our commitment to 100% renewable energy by 2027, as an example, we've covered our car parks with 12,000 square meters of solar panels, generating almost 3 gigawatt-hours per year here in Grenoble. Another example is in Bouskoura, Morocco, where we've installed 7,000 square meters of solar panels, generating around 2 gigawatt-hours per year. We also supply our manufacturing operations in Morocco with 12 wind turbines located near the site, generating more than 50 gigawatt-hours per year. This represents 50% of the manufacturing site's energy consumption. We will continue to deploy on-site solar panels and also engage with long-term contracts for wind turbine power generation all over our main sites. Of course, the primary challenge in the semiconductor industry is to reduce power consumption itself. At ST, we've managed since 2016 to reduce by 20% the energy used per wafer produced. This was achieved thanks to innovative installations such as heat recovery or error-free cooling. Another important contributor going forward that we announced last year was the adoption of a district cooling system in Singapore, ST's single largest wafer fabrication site. This investment of around $400 million will eliminate 30% of the site's carbon emissions. All in all, we have reduced absolute greenhouse gas emissions by 38% since 2018, and we are on track to meet our carbon neutrality and renewable energy commitments by 2027. Personally, I work in sales and marketing, not production, yet I know I can have an impact too. For example, we are reducing our digital power consumption by using virtualization and more efficient servers. NST is encouraging all of us to commute and travel using as much as possible clean transportation with site mobility plans. With all these actions and measurements, we have been able to reduce the carbon footprint of our low-power STM32 microcontrollers from about 390 grams CO2 in 2013 to 120 grams in 2023. I'm very pleased to announce that from now on, we will be able to inform you on the individual carbon footprint of some of our STM32 microcontrollers, like the H5 and U5 series. I believe you have a lot of ideas to create advanced applications that embed STM32 and will contribute to societal and environmental challenges. And now we want to hear from you. Tell us the steps you are taking to create embedded systems that will make the world better. Ask us your questions and get more information during this next Q&A session. So let's accelerate sustainability together. Merci beaucoup et à bientôt.
Well, for me, that was a great STM32 Innovation Live. We are proud to be part of a very dynamic industry where fast evolving requirements demand solutions for higher performance, better connectivity, hardened security, and more cost effectiveness. What is equally important is to make all this accessible to more people within our industry. By helping all our partners and embedded developers to be more productive, knowledgeable, and creative, we are working toward meaningful innovation for all. We hope you got a lot of value from our event and that you are excited about what you saw and heard today, because we are very excited to see what you will do. What will you do with the new STM32C0? Now that a 32-bit microcontroller is as affordable as an 8-bit legacy device, we can't wait to see what you'll take advantage of the wider architecture and how you use the STM32 ecosystem to optimize your development. And what will you create with the STM32 MP13? We brought a CZIP Level 3 certification to an MPU with a more straightforward architecture, so that you can marry the powerful Linux applications with ironclad security. Talking about ironclad security, the STM32H5 is truly the new benchmark in embedded system. How will the fastest Cortex M33 today and the first STM32 to support ST Secure Manager transform what you do on embedded systems? Because we certify and maintain the CZIP Level 3 certification, thanks to the Secure Manager, the most complex security mechanisms become accessible to more developers, even for those with little or no expertise in the matter. And what the new opportunity does, the CZIP Level 3 certification on our wireless STM32WBA create? Building on the STM32U5, the STM32WBA provides an impressive performance per watt ratio in our most secure wireless MCU yet. Similarly, What will you do with the new protocols, like Matter? Consumers are seeking cohesive user experience. Will you answer the call? Building applications with our new products will push you to discover our ecosystem. You'll experience how the new STM32 Developer Zone, our software packages, and tools all work together to help you reach your goals. For example, the STM32Cube.ai cloud service with its model farm will change how you decide which neural network works best for your application. Just as the new ST-Link V3 Power Probe will help you discover the impact of your code on power consumption. We are really pleased that you could take the time to join us. ST remains committed to working with you wherever you are in the world. We hold many dedicated ST events and participate in trade shows around the globe so that you can connect with us directly. You can also connect with us online through our webinars, where we'll help you find the information you seek. Please check out also st.com, our blog and community, where we are constantly adding content and tools to empower you to solve the challenges you face as you shape the embedded systems of tomorrow. Thank you, the STM32 community, for joining us today, and keep releasing your creativity. Goodbye to all, and see you next time.